Good evening, and welcome to Doctorpiece Theater. My name is Dr. Dennis Business, and tonight we will continue our dive into This Is Why I Hate You. When we last left our hero, I don't even remember. You know what? At this point, it just doesn't fucking matter where our hero was. Chapter 22. They hate the harmless. Unpleasant. A word that doesn't even begin to do our current situation any justice. Imagine the people you care about being ripped out of your life while you stand by with few options. And no matter what, someone loses. That is my destination. That is what will happen if I don't fight. Corey was called into the first shift's office. She told me they're discharging her for being gay. The expected time before she's completely out of Korea is 2 weeks. This fact is crazy considering if you're a conscientious objector, the discharge process takes 10 to 20 times as long. So let's do the math. If you're gay, but willing to fight for the military, they treat you like you're the plague. If you're just unwilling to fight but aren't gay, no, let's keep sucking taxpayer money to continue to employ the deceased link in the military chain. Let's take a person who has no will to fight, who's given completely up on their role in the military and stretch out their stay. Now, if you're completely willing to serve your country and fight, but simply have a preference for the same gender, sorry, we have to boot you ASAP. This is standard military logic. Corey came to me crying the other night. I was alone in my room, losing myself in music, when she approached me with countless tears running down her face. I took off my headphones and listened to her say, "Arthur, I don't know what to do. I don't have any plan." I said, "Well, no matter what, Corey, I'm always here for you. I always have been." She looked up at me. Worry contorted her face. She said, "Yes, here in Korea. I need you back in the States with me." Corey shook her head with frustration and threw her head forward as if she had completely given up. She spoke with her face now in her hands. "Why do you think I chose to get deployed to Korea after I had just been deployed to another country? Don't you get it, Arthur?" I sighed. I didn't really have a choice in the matter. You can't just leave the military or choose to move whenever you like. Things in the military most always happen slowly. Unless you're gay, at least. Apparently, that's one of the few times the system actually tries to get something done quickly. I understood Corey felt happier around me. I did too. But I was struggling to find a way for everything to work out. Something crossed my mind. Without hesitation, I asked, "Is Rachel bi or no?" "So they'll discharge her too, right?" "She can be there for you till I get back," Corey cried, saying, "No, I was the only one reported. Everyone has seen you kissing Rachel. Arthur, even the people who know she's been with me don't matter. She would have to admit she's done something with me. You think that's going to happen? She's not going to just leave you here either. She loves you more than me." Corey had a point. She knew where she stood. We both wished Rachel was as committed to Corey in the same way I was, but unlike the two of us, Rachel tended to go with the flow. Rachel wasn't fond of causing controversy or making a taboo statement. I felt like a prisoner. I was locked in a job I enjoyed less every day. I found myself working with people I despised more than most everyone I had met before. And now, all these thick-skulled military drones threatening to take Corey away? Corey, did you tell this shirt you were gay? She replied, No, I've been hiding it all my life, but they didn't believe me. It's not even about Asher seeing me holding hands with Rachel anymore. The shirt said they have too many witnesses saying I've been trying to kiss random girls, and others saying I came out to them, which is a total lie. I asked Corey to tell me all the people who reported her, and she said, Asher went to the shirt with written statements from him and his 3 friends. When Corey told me this, I felt a burning inside my chest. This was blatantly malicious. Austin and Asher couldn't physically beat me, so they're trying to rip me away from someone I love. I couldn't sit around and let this go unanswered. I knew I could do something about this. Like the typical anger-filled man I obviously am, I stood up without hesitation. I went straight over to Asher's dorm room. I thought to myself, worst case scenario, I get discharged from the military with Corey. The only difference would be my discharge would have an asterisk next to it for assaulting Asher. This time my actions would come without the guise of self-defense, so Lieutenant Colonel Haas would have no way to protect me. Now for the best case scenario. If this worked out, I could get to Asher to report the first shirt saying he and his friends lied, which would likely lead Corey to staying in. Either way, I wouldn't lose her. Through violence or bargaining, Corey was mine to keep close. No one would separate us ever again. As I walked down the hall, I positioned myself across from Asher's room so I could work up enough speed to sufficiently body slam myself through his door. The first slam was a failure. As I walked down the hall, I positioned myself across from Asher's room so I could work up enough speed to sufficiently body slam myself through his door. The first slam was a failure. I reset myself and focused the full weight of my body towards one leg so it would all impact just beneath the doorknob. This time, the door burst open, sending metal pieces of the lock all around Asher's room. Asher sat up in his bed and screamed, "Seriously, dude?" As I walked towards his half-clothed body, his nerdy desk job-looking roommate yelped, "I'm leaving! I'm leaving now!" The nerdy roommate's fast-paced walk turned into running when I pulled out my combat knife, pinned Asher down, and pressed the tip of the knife to his throat. I said in a deep and sincere tone, "Asher, I am going to tell you this one time. If you do not comply, I am going to push this blade into your neck so fast, you won't even have time to regret your decision." Asher didn't look afraid. He didn't even seem fazed. As he stared back at me, a smile slowly crossed his face. Asher said in a mocking tone, "You love your dirty little airman Corey Jeffries so much. It's cute, freak. She'll burn, you know that?" He laughed, clearly not even caring his neck movement was causing the tip of my knife to draw small amounts of his blood. As my knee pressed down on him, infuriated by his sociopathic response, Asher continued, "You want me to give in so she can stay with you, but if you kill me, they'll put you in jail for life." He began laughing even harder. Seeing his amusement made me sick. I wanted him dead. The world would be far better off without his homophobic trash. I pulled the blade away from Asher's neck while simultaneously stuffing a nearby filthy sock in his laughing mouth. Still having his arms pinned down with my knees, I lined the knife up with one of his teeth and began smacking the butt of the knife handle with my fist to knock his teeth out one by one. I wasn't able to do much damage before someone desperately pulled me off him. It was Senior Airman Austin. Asher was crying over the pain the focused impacts caused him. He may be a sociopath, but he knows physical pain. It was my pleasure to see him suffer. Austin stood over me, looking at a screaming and crying Asher. Sensing my movement, Austin quickly turned to me as I recovered from the ground. Instead of yelling at me or threatening me, Austin just smiled. He said, "We've already won, Linfeld. Your love triangle's dead, man." I'm not a mindless, logic-immune nutcase. I knew he wasn't entirely wrong. I lost. But there was no way to get them all to tell the first shirt they lied. Both my initial options were failures. I felt like the only thing left for me now was to accept I was on fire and let the flames consume me until nothing remained. Expressionless, I returned the somewhat bloodied combat knife to my belt. Without further discussion, I walked out of the room backwards, so I would remain facing the two mutually hostile airmen. It looked stupid, but I was constantly trained to never turn your back towards the threat. My violence is a cry for help. Violence most always is. I'm a desperate man on a path to nowhere. I can't lose Corey. I don't want to lose Rachel. I can't win. Oh my God. Oh.
I've been looking around a while. You got something for me? Oh, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I ride my bike, I roller skate, don't ride no car. Don't go too fast, but I go pretty.
This has been Doctorpiece Theater, and my name is Dr. Dennis Business. And as always, my friends,